Well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday, May 20th, 8 p.m. on the dot. All right. Got some nice numbers there. Welcome. And it is the 147th live stream that I've done. Wow. What does that mean? We don't know. But it should mean that I'm a bit more professional. It should mean fewer technical difficulties and all that fun stuff. I can't guarantee that though. But thank you guys for being here. What else should I say? I need to figure out, what do I start each stream with? Should I be consistent? Does it make better sense in the algorithms for me to introduce myself? I have no idea. Let me try that. My name is Yobel. I am a wildlife and travel photographer, filmmaker, content creator. Yeah, I think that covers it. But for the streaming side of things, oh yeah, and also a live streamer as of 6 to 8 months ago. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you hop in at any point of the stream, my goal is to stream about 5 days a week, focused on editing photos and color grading my video footage, learning how to do cinematography, learning how to be better at filmmaking, all that kind of stuff. So that's the general gist of what you can enjoy while tuning into my live stream. It's mostly travel based, so while I'm sitting at home, a lot of what I do tends to take me to different countries. I've been blessed enough to be able to travel the world. I enjoy it. I had the stamina for it. And so while I go there, obviously I take my trusty cameras, I go capture photos and videos, and then I bring it back home where I can then edit, process, and turn it into something. What that is, it's to be determined. But in the most recent chapter of my life, I decided to enter into YouTube. So I decided to become a YouTuber. I decided to take some of those travel footage and condense them into travel vlogs, which I can then use to hopefully shine a light into some of the parts of the world that I get to discover for myself and bring you guys with me on those journeys. So that brings me a lot of joy. I think that's very satisfying to me to see, and this is where my motto comes in, where I share the best of the world with the rest of the world through my lens. So that kind of is the fuel for this engine. The other two fuel sources are my cats. Oh, of course, as I say that, where the heck is one of my cats? Just an empty bed. Are my cats. All right, at least we got one of them here. Kimbap, good boy. Yes. Good boy, Kimbap, good boy. I just fed them, so I think he's probably gonna go into his food coma soon. So this is Kimbap. Now, normally he's in the other bed, but he has switched over to this one as of recent. So, you know, I'm not complaining. And then my other cat, Nala, if she decides to grace us with her presence, I guess hopefully she'll hang out with us over on this camera. So yeah, we shall see. Anyways, yeah, so I got my two cats with me, and between them and myself, these are the main characters of this live stream that you get to watch. So with that said, happy Wednesday again. I mentioned it's 8 p.m., so I did start a little bit late today. I had a few important meetings in the afternoon, and they went very good, by the way. So just for, just FYI, the meetings went really well. I'm very excited. I think it could mean future opportunities that I'm working on, whether it be like film projects or travel tours or whatever, those kinds of projects that I like to do. Very good meetings. And I think, I think one thing I've been enjoying as much as I didn't think I would is networking and building relationships with people in the industry and just kind of putting my name out there more and more. It used to be something I dreaded in my corporate days. And now, not that I love it, but I see the value of it. Sora, what's happening? Sora says, it's the fat cat. Yeah, you know what? I might have been overfeeding him a little bit. He might need to lose a little bit of weight. Hold on. I turned the fan on a little too strong. If you guys hear a lot of background noise, it's because I'm blasting this little fan. I overheat too quickly, so this is my solution. Yeah, Kimbap, he is a little bit more chubby, I think. He's looking a bit more rotund. Yeah, maybe I gotta keep an eye. I should just weigh him. I got me myself a Sony a6100. Well, congratulations, Sora. The a6100. I am not familiar with that particular camera. However, I am familiar with the a6000. So the very first camera I ever shot with was a Sony a6000. So I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Sony, specifically that camera, because you know, it did fuel, it powered the start of my passion for photography. So I'm excited. The Sony a6100, I can only imagine it must be at least 100 times better. Isn't that how it works? From an a6000 to a6100? No, but I mean, it's just an upgraded version. Yeah. Well, like I said, like the a6000, that is the camera that I shot with for the first, I think, 1.5 to 2 years of my photography journey. And I was able to take it with me on a number of trips, including my first trip. I'm going to turn it into a behind the lens episode shortly. I want to explain my first trip ever with the camera. What was that like? Share some of the photos that I captured with it. And all those photos were taken with the Sony a6000, including some of my most favorite photos to date. As in still, it is some of my favorite captures ever. I wonder if I can show it. Because I don't have it backed up on my computer right now. However, I think it's like saved in my Lightroom catalog. So yeah, here it is. All right, let's go down a little bit of a memory lane. Sora says, 4K resolution with microphone jack. I mean, if you still have Sony lenses, you can put it on your Nikon camera. Yeah, no, I never. So what happened is someone stole my Sony. Someone broke into my apartment back when I used to live in San Francisco, and they stole my first Sony a6000 and my laptop. And yeah, devastating. That is one of the, yeah. Anyways, I ended up getting a second Sony a6000, and I forget what lens did I end up using with the new one, but ultimately that was short-lived because I decided to upgrade. And I ended up buying a used Nikon D810. A D810, and I forget what the first lens was. It might have been a 24 to 72.8. I don't know, actually. I'll have to double check. But yeah, that was back in the day. I'm assuming I sold, if I had any Sony lenses remaining, I think I sold it. The first Sony lens I had, I think, was like a 35 1.4. Is that right? Something like that. I think it was like a 35 or... But the thing, it's an APS-C sensor, so I'm assuming if it was a 35, it was actually more like a 50 millimeter, something like that. Listen, I'm not here to do math. I'm getting a rig cage for my a6100 and a shotgun mic. Yeah, for sure. Those cages are, yeah, as you get more serious into photography, I feel like these cages are almost necessary, or it's like a requirement. Okay, let's go down my memory lane. So this is with the Sony a6000. This was in Dolores Park, and keep in mind, I had no idea what I was doing. This is literally just, I got the camera, I decided to just go out into the world and start shooting. And it's kind of funny looking at this now. I think, I could be wrong, but I think at least for my first trip, maybe a little bit longer, I actually shot everything in JPEG. So I was a fool. I think I did try to convert it into a higher resolution later, but all of these shots originally was in JPEG. I didn't know about shooting in RAW. Okay, that's how, you know, just talk about how green, how fresh I was when I bought the camera. I didn't know it. I didn't know jack shit. So I was just like, okay, I shoot in aperture mode, I think, and then okay, I just hit this button. This is the shutter, so I just click this, and oh, cool, nice. That was basically me. And yeah, so the funny thing is that first trip I ever went on, it was to Banff National Park, beautiful park, a place where you would want to shoot RAW because of just how much beauty there is and the wildlife. And instead, I shot everything in JPEG, but it was a good learnings. And I ended up printing on I got a big canvas printing of some of my shots that were in JPEG, and it still looks fantastic. So Sora says, I plan on building a cinematography camera using the a6100. Nice, nice. I mean, that's how you start, right? You mostly shoot animals from the start of your journey. No, actually, I didn't really shoot a lot of animals to start with. I was fairly broad Like I was shooting everything, whatever I thought looked interesting. I did mostly landscape for a while there too. So we can see. Well, yeah, this is the first photo I took. You can see I didn't know anything about focus either. So the focus was right on, smack dab on the body of this chameleon. Nice little blurry face here, but it didn't mean anything to me. When I took this, I thought this was one of the coolest shots I'd ever seen. That kind of, you're so, which is a good thing, by the way. You shouldn't judge yourself harshly either. But I really love the colors of the chameleon. So then as I was learning how to shoot, I was also learning how to edit photos at the same time. So it was just a all-around fun experience for me to learn how to use Lightroom, how do I blah, blah, blah. And you can see there's a lot of things that was wrong about this. And this was a symptom of the A6000 camera as well. I do remember that one of the issues with the Sony A6000 compared to the newer cameras that I shot with is there was a lot of this like purple fringing. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but there was oftentimes a lot of this kind of purple color distortion that would appear on the fringes of my subjects. And I spent so much time, inordinate amount of time, when I would be editing each photo to try to take a brush and remove a lot of the fringing off the edges or whatever. It was a whole ordeal. But yeah, the moment I upgraded to the Nikon D810, that completely disappeared. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to waste 30 minutes to an hour on each photo getting rid of every one of these little purple fringes. That was a godsend. But I'm glad I started with A6000. It forces you to like, it's like you gotta go with the training wheels first. But blue tint, since it's a very old color system. Gotcha. I just remember a lot of purple. Okay, what else did I have? Some gal, again, just some random gal at the Dolores Park. Was this the same? I'm assuming it's the same, yeah. No. Oh, yeah, it is the same. Just a different angle. And again, I didn't know what I was doing. I just point and shoot. But for whatever reason, I liked this photo. Even to this day, I couldn't tell you what kind of drew me to why I thought the framing looked good. Or maybe it wasn't good. Now that I look at it with the more critical eye, I can tell like, man, there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of noisy stuff in the background. Obviously, with what I know now, I would want to change up the camera positioning, maybe not doing this kind of like top-down point of view. There's probably different angles I would have tried, ultimately, a little bit more eye level maybe. But then again, when I did this shot, I did still get to have a story involved. You had a lady with her lizard or her reptile, and she's got like a hippie flower, I don't know what you call this, the throat thing. I don't know what it's called. By the way, that problem stayed on the A6100. Now it's a yellow tint. Well, the good news, Sora, is now, because this is like 10 years ago at this point. I don't know. By now, I think Lightroom and all the other editing software has gotten so much better. Even if the camera doesn't get better, the software will be much better in terms of the AI, detecting the subjects, detecting those little anomalies, and then correcting it. And then these were some of the photos from Banff National Park that I had kind of like 5-starred. So again, I went to Canada, did a solo road trip. It was so fun, man. I was still doing like these solo backpacking trips. So I went out there by myself with my little trusty camera, and I met a bunch of people at the hostel. And I remember my vehicle, I rented a car, and the car just randomly got upgraded for free. So they upgraded me to like this massive SUV. So then when I met some of these people in the hostel, I was like, hey, well, I mean, I have a car. Do you guys want to just hop in and I'll be the designated driver? We can go hiking and stuff. And they're like, yeah, of course, that'd be great. Thank you. So then, yeah, you make friends this way. It was so much fun. I don't even remember their names. I don't even think I might still follow them somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, the point is, it was a bunch of solo travelers all coming together in these hostels, and then we would go out and try to enjoy nature. So of course I had my camera. I was trying to take photos. This is one of the shots that I ended up enjoying, and this is my clumsy attempt at editing this photo. I don't know why, but I decided, should I try to kind of desaturate everything and highlight the colors of the 3 people so that they show up a bit more. So it would be fun if I can find the original photos. I think these ones are lost to time. I don't know if I actually have the raw files anymore, but it would be fun to re-edit a lot of my old photos. I think that could be fun. Sora says, pirated my Lightroom. Listen, I won't tell anyone. I didn't pay for mine. I pirated that. Yeah, listen. No judgment here, okay? Who am I to judge? This was a cool shot in my opinion. Again, I think I was shooting with a 35 or a 50 millimeter 1. I don't think any of the details will even show up here because the file's not loaded into my computer. Would it show in the metadata maybe? Dun, dun, dun. No, I don't think so. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the information. But anyways, I took this shot. I liked it. This was probably one of the first times I was starting to understand the concept of like bokeh and like aperture and the impact that having a wider aperture can have in terms of blurring the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. Now, Sora, for what it's worth, when I bought this first camera, the decision I made behind it was, once I decided the Sony a6000, I decided to also not go with the kit lens. I decided to go with that prime lens. So the prime lens I do recommend, honestly, if you're not saying you're a beginner, but I'm saying like for beginning photographers, I feel like if the budget allows for it, having a prime lens is really nice. One, because you will end up with some pretty much better results, all things equal, but also because it forces you to have to change your perspective. When you have that zoom lens as a beginner, it becomes a crutch where you can use it to zoom out, zoom in, and get exactly what you think you need, right? Getting the whole subject or whatever. And so then you don't learn as much about framing and composition and, changing perspectives. So having a prime lens, I think, as a beginner is really good because then it trains you on that particular focal distance. Plus it trains you on, so it makes you adapt and figure out ways to make the best out of whatever you can shoot, and you learn more that way. That's my 2 cents. Daytor says, good evening, Yobel. You mean Guten Abend, but yes. Hello, Daytor. Thank you for hopping in here. Happy Wednesday. We're just chilling today. Sora says, I already have a 16-50, but I'm buying a Viltrox 56 f1.7. Nice. That sounds fantastic. 16-50 is a perfect range for, well, you said you're doing like video stuff, right? Cinematography. So it already sounds like that's a proper focal distance. And then, yeah, having that prime lens, oof, it hits the spot. It really does. But it is kind of funny looking at these photos again. I'm like, my God, what was I doing? Yeah, this was the Wolf's Head, Peyto Lake. Wow, it's funny how my memory can just pop up at random times. I think this is called Peyto Lake. And I remember it's like, once you hike up to the top, it looks like a wolf's head is what they say. I don't think from this angle you can see it as well. But yeah, so I did a little bit of landscape. I remember I was so blown away when I took this shot of a chipmunk. Because before this, I really didn't ever see wildlife. Yeah, it's not like I was used to doing animal photography or anything like that, anything with animals. So to have this cool camera that I just bought, I'm in a national park, and then this chipmunk just like kind of wander nearby, and it allowed me to creep up pretty close because I guess a lot of people feed the chipmunk, so it's not like afraid of humans. So then I was like creeping closer with my lens, and then I just took this shot. And I think, yeah, in hindsight, looking back at this shot, I don't think I did anything wrong. But no, I think I was like, okay, that was good. I did a good job here, in my opinion. If I can be neutral about myself, I look at this and be like, good job, student. You got a nice background that tells a story, right? You got this blurry mountain that's not really cropped. You got a chipmunk over as the foreground subject in like the right third. So you're following that rule of thirds kind of, technique. You've got the subject, the chimp is in focus. Well done. Yeah, I would look at this and be like, this is not half bad. But I was blown away that I got my first like quote unquote wildlife photo. It was of this chipmunk. So proud of myself back then. Sora says the 1650 is horrific. It's 3.5 to 5.6, but it's stabilized. Gotcha. Y'all got to start somewhere. Oh, here you can see the purple fringing. How do I zoom in? There we go. So you can see there's all of this purple everywhere, and it was just like frustrating to deal with. So I used to have to go photo by photo, and I'd take a brush and I would start to lightly brush on each of those purple areas and try to change the hue and the tint to try and like desaturate to get rid of it. And it was like it was a futile task. But I'm grateful for it because, like I said, it gives you practice and practice. Yeah. This photo is just whatever, but I liked it regardless. This one I was proud of, and this was also one of the first times I used Photoshop. And I remember I watched some YouTube video and I learned how to mask away somebody. Like I think there was a person in the original photo. I think there was a person to the right or to the left of this lady doing her handstand. And I meticulously researched YouTube videos about how do you clone stamp and like get rid of unnecessary objects. So then I learned how to basically mirror parts of like the wooden dock here and then replicate it over where the person was and then smooth it out to the point where it's almost imperceptible. So I was very proud of myself for that one. It was good learnings. So then it cleaned up the image. Unfortunately, this was not properly centered. So if I could do this over again, I would have tried another attempt to see. I mean, at some point you can't really do anything if she's not in the center. I don't know, maybe. I get a little OCD though, so that's the problem. This one was great just to, you know, there's a nice looking point, a viewing point as we were driving, I think to Jasper National Park, I believe. But, you know, it's like stunning view. And yeah, took the shot. Didn't really know what I was doing, but yeah, it was easy enough of a shot, I guess. You just point and shoot and hope for the best. I'm not really sure how I would do this differently with the knowledge that I have now. Maybe I would have done a bit more panoramic. Maybe I would have actually done a close-up of the road as opposed to like a wide angle, like zoom in on like this curved road side here and make that the story. Who knows? Oh, and then I would have, you know, if I still had all the gear with me, I would try to do a long exposure and so get the clouds to look very silky smooth. I would have done a better job with the, yeah, whatever. This was one of the, well, this one was a special shot for me because this is my namesake. My name means a ram's horn in like the literal sense. So it was cool to actually finally see the thing that I was named after, right? And it was like just resting on the side of the road. And I remember I was just creeping closer and closer with my lens. And then at this point it stood up abruptly, kicked off some rocks, and then it just kind of wandered down. And I didn't know what I was doing, clearly. So I had this beautiful sky, as you can see. So clearly very overexposed, but I didn't care because at least the ram itself was there. A bit blurry, so I'm assuming I missed the focus even then. Focus looks like it's somewhere down here, maybe? I don't know. But I liked it. I was happy I got the shot. And then, yeah, so you can see there's a mix of everything. I was just shooting whatever I thought was fascinating. I was fascinated by everything. I was fascinated by this rock, and I was like, okay, I need to take a photo of this rock. And then you know, whatever landscape. And then the other guy, I think his name, I forget his name. It starts with a K, I think. So he had a camera as well. He took some really cool shots, in my opinion. So we had some elk on the side of the road. So then here was my first time taking a photo with two subjects combined. This one I actually printed. I have it as a print in my, is it in my room? I have it somewhere with me still. And it turned out really nice. I was able to blow up this photo, and it was again, I shot this as a JPEG, but it still was good enough to blow up into a big canvas, or a big, it's like a metal print or something. What else do we got? This one, just whatever. This is the elk that charged and attacked me. That'll be part of my BTL video. I think I'll be able to play the video itself and show you guys the crazy moment where my life flashed before my eyes, because I was standing like basically right where this elk is. Roughly around here is where I was standing, and the elk was behind these two bushes, or these two trees. And so I started filming as the elk was walking from right to left, with my hope was that as he walked through this opening, or as he walked right to left, when he passes through this opening, I have a clear shot with my smartphone to get a nice video of the elk. And the elk saw me through that opening and then decided to do a nice little 90-degree pivot and dive right through the opening and charge right at me. So all I could do was try to turn around and run, and I tripped immediately, hit the ground, thought I was going to die. Anyways, that's a whole story I'm going to tell in one of my YouTube videos. But here's the elk that tried to kill me. Then here's my attempts at just, again, trying to be artistic, right? So there's this nice little snow ice patch that landed and made, in my opinion, when I saw this, I thought it made it look like a little flower, like a rose. So I ended up taking this photo, I edited it so it looks more like a winter rose, if you will. And then tried my hand at doing a little bit of landscape, panoramic shots, as we went up the mountain, and then San Francisco. So anyways, we got plenty of stuff. It's going to be fun to kind of go through this in more detail. But all of this to say is, Sora, I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see what kind of content you end up creating with your new camera. Congratulations to you. Let me take a little sippy of this. Look who decided to join. We've got our very own princess of the house, queen of the house, excuse me, Nala herself. Oh, her ear, she knows her name. Nala is a good girl. Yes, she is. What a good girl, Nala. Same with Kimbap. What a good boy Kimbap is. Yeah. Oh, I gotta fix the focus. There we go. All right, anyways. Okay. Let's go down. Before we start working, let me do a bit of warm-up. So, as per usual, I want to warm myself up and warm my ears up. So let's go ahead and play the sound game. Let's see if I don't think I'm going to be able to surpass yesterday's score. Yesterday was the first time basically every score got rounded up to 10. And what did we made it to like 800 and something out of 800,000. So tough to beat, but let's keep trying. Oh, it's too quiet. Okay. Not bad. Okay. These are okay scores. Listen, I'm not complaining. That's not bad. But now I'm addicted to getting perfect scores. All right, let's try again. Okay. Oh, dang it. Oh no, I ruined it. Damn it, if it wasn't for number 2. Okay, well, I'm a bit rusty, okay. I need consistency. Oh no. Oh! Wait, the irony. I thought this was going to be my worst one. Okay, that's not bad, but I need better. Boom. Oh man, struggling. Okay, I'm gonna try one more. Okay, you know what? Today's not my like perfect day, but listen, I'm not complaining. We could do better though. That's the main point. All right, let me just get a few games of chess in here. Get fully warmed up, and then we're gonna watch some YouTube videos and edit. All right, so I just need to win 2 out of 3 games, and then I feel like mentally I can move on. I wonder if being forgetful is the same thing as having... Well, obviously it's not the same thing as having ADHD. But I wonder how much correlation there is between having ADHD and being super forgetful. Because this is like, I think the 3rd or 4th stream in a row where each time I'm thinking like, oh, I need to turn on the sound. So I can hear the sound of each chess piece moving. And then I always forget. So... He's gonna move his knight. Watch, watch. I feel it. Okay, other knight. Sorry, my psychiatry thing was off. Okay, now if I move the bishop here, if he doesn't move, I take. The problem he sees and why he's not moving yet is because I got... Okay, so yeah, he's threatening my queen because he knows that I was threatening his... which is fine. Because what I'll do, I think, is I take his knight. If I take his knight, he still needs to move that rook out of the way, otherwise I get a free rook. But I do need to protect my queen, so yes, let me take the knight. Let me take the rook. If he takes this, I win the game. So now I want to back. I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to take the bishop. So I save my bishop, and I also get I take over that pawn as well. I think this might be the best. That was probably all the best moves I should have done. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But I don't think I made a mistake. I don't think. Oh, I did make a mistake. What? What did I make a mistake? What are you talking about? What you talking about? What did I do? Okay, give me a game review.
A nice tactical blow in the opening. Let's look at your great moves.
Ooh, it said I played like a 2300. All right, I accept that. But where was the start review?
A fundamental move that leads to several exciting openings. The Vienna is a tricky opening and a good way to catch your opponent off guard. You are threatening to checkmate the king. Your better option was to attack the bishop with a pawn.
Okay, hold on. So this was my mistake?
They chose kingside castling, getting their king out of the center and activate. You kicked your opponent's piece from that square.
So it's saying I should have done that, and then what?
This move puts their bishop on a safer square. Castling kingside tends to be safe. This move prepares for their bishop to join the action.
And then do it? Okay, so it's saying I need to do
this
those
lets
things.
Your bishop step into the game. They exchange pieces of equal value.
Why not take with my knight?
A clear recapture.
Whatever. Okay, now I'm getting lost in the sauce. All right, let me figure out how to turn on the sound for the actual games. Okay, I think I turned it on. Let's go. All right, so we're 1 of 3. I just need one more win. There we go. Sound is on. We're in a bit of a cluster. Okay, so I can either take this, so I can do that, which means he'll take with this, which means I'll take that, which means he'll move this, and then I get a knight. Oh, I'll re-engage with the knight. I think that's the best move. Don't mind if I do. Okay, so we're still even Steven. I got nervous there. All right, I'm going to threaten his king. I think I need to move my knight here. No, no, okay, we'll do a little bit of defensive. We're gonna go on the defense here. He might move his knight here. I'm gonna threaten the rook. I'm gonna put a line. I'm gonna put my little sniper sight on to the king there. And also to get this free rook here. Ooh, hold on, what should I do? Oh no, of course I have to, no I don't, it's not of course. We're gonna take with that. He might move it here, just to double up on this pawn. That's my guess. Oh, I'm a genius. But before I do that, is there a strategic thing? Because if I move my knight, I do expose the strike force here. I don't think, okay. First, let me protect myself. So he's gonna have to move his king. All right, good, good, good. This guy, what to do, what to do. Okay, I'm going to start doubling up. He might double up here as well. No, okay, okay. Nice. He didn't see it coming. Oh, this guy, this guy. You fool! You fool! Alright. The worst thing I can do is get cocky, which I'm clearly doing. Oh, shoot. That's not the worst thing. The worst thing is I can run out of time. Good, good, good. He's gonna have to trade. Okay, fine. I'll just take. Boom. Boom. Save me some time. I gotta go fast here. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh, oh no! Oh no! I ran out of time. And I was winning too. That's so foolish of me. Wait, is it because am I playing with the 2-second rule? Oh, that's why. I thought I had extra time. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm not playing with, I thought I was playing with the 3 minute plus 2 seconds each time. That's why I was pausing and explaining things. So I thought, oh yeah, I can make it up. Well, there you go. Idiot in another way. I'm gonna move my bishop here. Well, okay, so now I gotta just go fast because I was not paying attention. So I didn't realize my predicament. Oh, I can't believe it. I was such a fool. You fool. I thought I was playing 3 minutes plus 2. So, okay, now I just gotta play fast. I think I might play a few more games even if I win this one, because it doesn't feel satisfying. Oh no. Oh, I just left myself exposed here. Oof. Oofa, oofa. Okay, let me protect my queen at least. This is not a good game for me. I just gotta hope I confuse him. All right, now I can attack this pawn. Oh shoot! He must see what I'm doing. He saw through me. It's okay. I'll take over this one. What to do, what to do? Oh, shoot. I left myself exposed. Thankfully, he did not see it. So now I could win on time if I play my cards right. Oof. Okay, no, I'm good. I'm good. If he attacks me with a rook, I take that. He's gonna have to move his rook anyways, but then I'm gonna do a little bit of a sneaky check here, right? So I think I just lucked myself into a decent pressure position, and he's losing on time now, so I'm making him think. That's the problem for him. For me, I'm about to... Oh, I'm about to... If he moves his rook right here, I win the game. I legit win the game. Is this even better? I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me just do the check. See what happens. He's got 15 seconds. He made some fatal mistakes. What mistake can I make here? I'm not sure, but I gotta go. Oh no, I got a minute. I got a minute. Okay, let me back this bishop. Oh shoot. Oh my god. He could have just checked me, but he didn't. Fine. Okay, now let me check him, because he could have checked me right here with that move. He did not. Now, what can I do? I'm still in a bad spot here. I gotta be careful. He's gonna take this pawn. Yeah. Doesn't matter because I win. Oh, okay. Well, listen. I'm supposed to do some photo editing here. And I did, you know what? I clawed my way back to victory. So this is probably a good place for me to stop. Cool, cool. All right, so I wanted to watch some YouTube videos about, of course, our favorite topic, which is filmmaking, photography, cinematography, all that kind of stuff. I have a bunch lined up. What do I have? Oh yeah, we like this guy, Luke Forsyth. So I might watch that video.
Imagine if all
We have something about color grading from our boy Cullen Kelly, who's a very reputable colorist, and I don't know what else he does. Oh, we got a video from Fedoreski. If he hops into the stream, we can watch with him. The making of Project Hail Mary, best of behind the scenes, special effects and stunts. That sounds fantastic. This is probably my favorite movie. I mean, it's definitely my favorite movie of recent times, of the past year or so. The behind the scenes of a short film, I guess, called The Art of Being, shot with the Alpha 7R. And this is from a week ago. Actually, let's start with, should we start with this one? I mentioned a big thing. Oh, and then we got this one too. Nice. We like our boy Potato Jet. Oh, I'm not even subscribed to him on this. Okay. I like Potato Jet, and then why Christopher Nolan shot the Odyssey on IMAX film. The point is, I have a bunch of videos that I wanted to watch, and it's all in the name of being better at cinematography. It's about being better at storytelling, travel documentary stuff, how to edit videos and photos better, how to be a better creator, all of it. I don't know which one I want to watch first. Oh, and then our so Fernway Chronicles, they're probably the first YouTube channel that I stumbled upon that kind of inspired me when I started to make my travel vlog series, like the first one on Uganda. Because I had watched their video, and the style of how they opened the video, it really definitely made me kind of feel inspired of like, oh, here's what I need to do. So I don't know, at some point I do want to watch more of theirs to have a good sense of what I need to try, how I should be filming some of these things. Actually, you know what? Let's watch it. Because just from that thumbnail, there's a bunch of things I think I should take notes on. All right, so let's shrink this guy up. Let's bring this larger screen. Let's go into theater mode. And then I'll start editing photos or videos as I do this.
I close my eyes. I can see it. It's like I'm back in Kenya. Back in the Masamara. And we're in Kenya. I can see.
Okay, so the quick notes I want to take from myself starts with just like shot list, you know? I should probably have a separate note page just for shots, like shot list stuff. That's a problem for next time, or for tomorrow. Shot list at 003. You know, the funny thing, I already started doing this. So great minds think alike, they say. But doing this kind of like low angle side of Jeep shot, but also do one facing backwards too.
See it. It's like I'm back in Kenya. Back in the Masamara. And where animals as tall as trees.
And this is cheating. Because this is a lovely family that I guess they travel together. It's like the mom and dad and I think 2 kids. So they're cheating with having the adorable kid's voice being able to narrate. Unfortunately, I got to use my voice oftentimes, but...
Roam the plains. And Messiah warriors, the guardians of the land, show us their world.
Focus pulling shot, using the mirror. That is also something I've been trying to do more of, but I'll just write it down so I don't forget. So at 020, oops, dang it. 025, shot Shot list. Start from subject's eyes through rear mirror, then focus pull to background subject. One thing I like about that, so I'm trying to think. So sometimes I do this subconsciously. Lately, I've been trying to make a more concerted effort to think about it. So I think he lined up a few shots where there's some kind of connection between shot 1 to shot 2. So something carries over between shots, or especially when synced to the music. So let's see. Here it's like a wide angle. You have multiple subjects, but you're also seeing a chronologically, it started with like the dark shots. Okay, so here it's a new sequence. It's like, you know, before sunrise, very dark. They're getting in the Jeep. Jeep is on the move. Then it's still early morning, you know, sunrise-ish. And then we're still sticking to the elephants as the subject, but now it's going from the establishing shot, the wide angle, to a little bit more medium close-up shot. The elephants are moving right to left. And then, yeah, and then you got those 2 shots in a row. They're still going right to left, but then it was a quick succession of 2 animals each, which I think is nice. So there's a bit more, I guess, smooth transitions. And then a couple shots going to the right, and then jumping back to the left. Although, you know what? If I could nitpick, I think I would have done it. I think I would have switched the ordering. Hold on. Let me slow it down a bit. And let me turn off the music. Okay, because he's got the leopards here. Then it goes to a lion and lion. And then back to the leopard. And I feel like maybe it could have made more sense to stick to the leopards. Maybe. But then again, I guess maybe the leopard's not even the point of this shot. It's to just get a little bit of behind the scenes and, you know, being in the moment. But there could have been maybe a synergy where if you shot, if you had the clip of the leopards and then zoom out into this view while they're seeing the leopard, maybe. Okay, let's go back to normal. Well, that was cool.
This is our adventure.
Okay, first up, if you're new here, you're probably wondering what on earth we're doing with our kids on safari in Kenya. 10 years ago, we were that young backpacking couple you may have met in Southeast Asia, but we always knew that when we had kids, we would keep traveling as a family to show them this incredible planet of ours.
Muffy, where are we going?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yay! Go.
What are your interests? What would you like to see?
What do you want to see, baby?
Elephants.
A lion, yeah.
We just came from Amboseli National Park, where we were practically overrun by elephants, but we did not get to see any big cats. The Mara was about to blow our minds.
Time to wake up.
It is kind of funny. I hear that a few times now. Giamps. Thank you very much, Giamps. Giamps for the sub over on YouTube. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just starting. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just starting to do a bit of photo editing and then starting to watch a few of these videos here related to, well, kind of my world, I guess. So this traveling couple and also with their kids now, they do what I aspire to do, but they just do it at a just much better. But they document their travels and they do a lot of these kind of adventure travels, and they film everything in a very, very cinematic way. And usually each of their episodes starts off with a really cool trailer style, which is similar to what I've been enjoying doing for my videos. So I pull a lot of inspiration from these guys.
After a quick stop at the lodge to drop off our bags, we were already summoned to our first safari.
What is it, Liv?
Liv?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And Bodhi.
Body. Are you good?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Hot. Going on our first game drive.
Ready, Liv?
I've used this soundtrack before. It's kind of funny how much sounds like the problem is when you use stock soundtracks, I guess, or there's maybe the library of it is not big enough for the world of content creation. Because it's funny, like a lot of these videos, I'm like, oh, I recognize that soundtrack.
Are you shooting my nursing?
Yeah, I have to. Otherwise, I could never do anything else.
Can you mama take the video open up and mark the video first? Yeah.
The cheetahs might hunt the wildebeest or the little impalas, and we're just gonna wait and see what happens.
Why?
Oh, one thing I found interesting, I think I've noticed it from one of their other videos, but I don't know if they put mics on each other, or maybe they're just using a really good shotgun mic, because the quality of the audio sounds good. But yeah, anyways.
Not long into our first safari, we got to witness the infamous Fast Five, or Tano Bora as they are known locally. Cheetahs are usually known to be solitary hunters, but these 5 males have formed a coalition to be more successful in taking down prey. But their hunt today took an unexpected turn when a Pumbaa mama turned on them and the hunter became the hunted.
There's a big papa lion over here. This is so amazing.
Man. When I see these things, the one thing I get very jealous of all the time is when I see a film crew, when I see these travel crews, or like, yeah, just having a second person who's filming things at the same time. Oh, I get so jealous because, yeah, generally I just travel on my own. But to have someone else capturing certain moments, and whether I'm the one capturing some behind the scenes and wide angle or whatever, or vice versa, it's such a... It makes creating content so much easier. So much easier.
So close.
That night, we were kept awake by the sound of lions outside our tent. So the next morning, Tara and the kids slept in while I went on a solo sunrise adventure.
Yeah, it's many noise. Lion, hyenas, everything.
I see blood in the water again. I
They got some good
We
sightings.
kiss desire, run through the night, ready for fire. Who holds the prize in this war of survival? Run through the night, ready for fire, ready for fire. Ready for fire.
Once the fog cleared, our guides Bundy and Jack picked up a trail of a single cheetah.
Kingdom come, kingdom come. Touch the thunder, touch the thunder.
I don't know how these guys do it, but it's incredible to watch.
Kingdom come, touch the thunder, touch the thunder. Kingdom come.
Speaking of which, one of the places I need to visit is in Tanzania. It's called the Namiri Plains. Tanzania. Namiri Plains. So when I was doing the Tanzania workshop with all the guides, all of them, like, not all of them, but basically there's a general consensus that one of the best places to go if you want to have incredible wildlife sightings, especially for the big cats, is to go to this place called Namiri Plains. Season, like, it depends on the season, right? So I think when I was there, basically, that's like the perfect season to go, or the perfect time of the year, because there's a bit of a migration that occurs. All these animals come up towards, I guess, like the river area. And so I would, this is one of those things that I'm hoping that now as I build up, hopefully, a good partnership with this company, Asilia, and I can provide my services, of course. But as part of that, I hope I can visit this, their camp, and try to capture some of the wildlife shots. I was hoping they can show some of them. And the thing about Namiri Plains, what they were saying to me, is that usually in Namiri Plains, it's like very, well, it's like a plains, but there's not many obstructions. Like the grass isn't very tall, because I think all the wildebeest are munching through it, depending on the seasonal time. But then also there's no like hills or anything, and just a bunch of these big rocks. So when you go, you're basically able to get this like unobstructed view of the cheetahs and leopards or whatever as they're perched on the rocks. So Serengeti, but it's Namiri Plains. I need more images. Yeah, this kind of stuff. Where basically you'd have these big rocks and the lions or the cats basically just hang out there, which is amazing if you're a wildlife photographer, because now you're talking like full unobstructed, you don't have to deal with having to shoot through all the brush and the tree branches. You get like a proper eye level shot of these cheetahs on a rock. So I really need to figure out when I can go here. This would be great. Anyways, okay.
Are those the lines I've been hearing all night?
Yeah.
And we just spotted these lions here, which is really cool. So they're missing out a little bit. But hey, sleep, lions.
I'm
whole crew of baboons down there.
Wow.
Morning!
How epic was it?
Rhinos,
No.
giraffes,
Nuh-uh.
and hippos
Seriously?
went down the river. No, we didn't see any of that.
What kind of tree do you think you're gonna plant this?
Flower tree.
A flower tree.
And this one,
And he's just gonna try to not eat the dirt. That's his goal for today. We're at base camp Masai Mara, and we are going to go plant some trees. So all of these trees around us have been planted by visitors and by staff of the camp as just part of like a reforestation effort that they have here. Even the Obama.
Planted by Barack Obama. Damn, where did they go? Base Camp Masai Mara. Oh, no shot. Ah, yo, everything is connecting. Everything's coming together. Okay, this is kind of exciting. Because Go to Africa is one of those that's basically like who I'm partnering with, or who I've been working for. Is like a big conglomerate of different things, but one of those kind of extensions is Go to Africa. And so the hope was that as I do more of this type of work, I can actually do some content and projects with them. So yeah, well, no. Can I compete against a Fernway Chronicles who gets millions of views on their videos and they're fantastic? No. But I have my strengths I can pull. But that's fantastic. Dang.
has planted trees. So we're gonna go plant trees just like that. We have the yearly target of 100,000. This is the nursery. So welcome. The roots here, you can dig it, then the water you put, then in the following morning
I'm still amazed by the audio quality. Unless they just did a good job of hiding like a lav mic. I wonder, did they just use a proper one of those Sennheiser shotgun mics we were looking at? Let's see. I don't see anything about the gear that they use.
the water is clean.
One of the most astonishing things to take place since Basecamp Explorers started the reforestation program is that the forest has created its own microclimate, which makes it rain more frequently over the area, which in turn leads to further growth and even more biodiversity.
Did you eat dirt, baby?
Bodhi, you had one job.
No, this is a tree plant. It looks like sausages hanging out of the tree.
I feel like it doesn't really matter what we do out here. Every time we go out, it's like the experience is just enhanced by the people.
And if you see the giraffes?
What I like about these guys is I feel like they have really good sound design. They have a good ear for music. I mean, obviously, they're going with a very cinematic approach and with everything. So it's like slightly dramatic. It's a lot of feel-good moments with the music choice, but I think they do really well with it. So I do feel very inspired by their content. Okay, but anyways, so Fernway. I just want to watch some of these other things. It's already almost 9:30.
Okay, so I'm either about to do something really smart or really, really dumb. I'll tell you more what I'm talking about in a second, but the short version is I'm basically breaking most of my own rules about production by spending my own money without a real plan in place and dragging two of my favorite crew members to Mexico to film something that at the end of the day, nobody asked for. And no matter how many times I've launched myself into crazy projects without knowing how it's gonna work out, I don't ever really seem to get used to it. But I've also learned that being scared is sort of the point. Like, if everything feels totally comfortable and maybe you're just repeating a process you can do with your eyes closed, then you're probably not growing all that much. So this isn't gonna be your standard gear review or tutorial. Instead, I'm gonna tell you why, or I'm gonna try and explain why, even in the middle of one of my most successful years as a filmmaker ever, I'm gonna go full idiot mode and try something way outside my comfort zone. Because if you've ever felt stuck, or maybe you're not sure how to keep going in this weird career when everything seems to be falling apart, you're not alone. Okay, so here's the truth about where I'm at these days. Now, the cool thing is that somehow I'm actually doing really well right now. Honestly, better than I really ever thought possible when I first started messing around with cameras like 15 years ago. Last year was actually my second highest earning year ever as a DP, while actually working 25% less. On top of that, this channel is still growing slowly, and I've even got a non-fiction book in the works where I'm going to talk about my experiences working with drug cartels over the years, but I'll tell you more about that another time. That's not this video. But the point is, it's not like I'm just sitting around doing nothing, and on paper at least, I've really got nothing to complain about. But at some point in the last couple of months, I kind of realized that it's been a very long time since I've just done something dumb and gone out and made something for the sake of it. And for me anyways, that's kind of a problem. And I don't mean that in some dramatic, existential way. I mean, literally, I used to just go out and make random things. All the time. When I was getting my career off the ground, I was constantly taking chances and making stuff without knowing what had happened. I'd find something interesting, at least to me, then I'd try and wrangle a friend or two into helping, then grab whatever gear I had, which usually wasn't much at the time, and then just go out and see what happened. And most of the time, these spec projects really didn't go anywhere. And
Spec projects. Spec projects? Hello, Amber. What is a spec project?
Well, a spec project is basically you doing a whole heap of work on pure hope. You make something, whether it's a script, a video, or a campaign, without anybody actually asking for it or paying you. You're basically betting that someone out there will see it and think, hey, let's hire this streamer. It's like riding into town with your best saddle, hoping someone's got a horse for you. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you just got a fancy saddle and no ride.
But why is it called a spec? Yeah, where did the name come from?
Spec is short for speculative, which basically means you're just speculating that someone might want what you're making. The name comes from the fact that you're doing the work without a contract, without a buyer. Just the wild hope that someone out there will see its potential. So yeah, you're basically speculating on your own future. Like gambling with time instead of money.
And is this a term that's normally used for filmmaking, or is this just like a broad term?
It's definitely not just a film thing. It's a broad term. In advertising, folks do spec ads. In writing, you've got spec scripts. Basically, any time you're throwing your work out there without someone asking for it, that's spec. So whether you're in films, ads, or any other creative rodeo, it's the same gamble.
Okay, I need to learn these terms. I have to use these terms. I have to basically, in order to convince myself I'm a professional in this world, I have to like talk like one, or at least understand the lingo. So and my memory's not the best, so sometimes I just gotta like say the words out loud a lot. Okay, so he said spec project, the importance of spec projects in my career.
Happen. And most of the time, these spec projects really didn't go anywhere. And I have hard drives of these full of shorts that we made that I was never able to sell, or that nobody was interested in, or that I just thought were too bad to publish publicly. I even spent over 100 days living in a tent a few years ago trying to make a feature doc that's still never seen the light of day, and realistically it's probably never going to. Now that phase of my life might not sound like something I'd want to keep going, because who wants to spend all their money and time on projects that don't really go anywhere, especially when I'm at a point when I've got more things going on than I can manage. But the thing is, that kind of reckless approach is what got me here in the first place. But lately, I think I've sort of lost sight of that, and it's kind of been bumming me out. Like, yeah, I've got lots of opportunities coming in, which is great, but it has made me stagnate a bit, if I'm being honest. Like, instead of just going out and chasing down random ideas, I've kind of been in this pattern of waiting for the next big thing to fall into my lap instead. Or in the context of this channel, maybe that means that you're planning videos around what's gonna perform the best instead of what sounds like the most fun or the most creative, exciting challenge. Basically being responsible, I guess, but also cautious and a little bit boring, which is part of being a professional, but it's also not the whole part of it. And if I'm being totally honest, it's been draining a lot of the fun out of work I used to love. But let's go back to packing and we'll pick this up in a second. Let's see what state I left this stuff in. I always love working with new people. You just find like random, really expensive things crammed in places they shouldn't be at the end of the day. We'll deal with that later. Anyways, like I was saying, right now it kind of feels like I'm doing 3 jobs at once. There's the professional DP work, which keeps me on the road for about a quarter of the year. Usually means working with a full crew and a budget of maybe a couple $1 million, and then a bunch of network executives overseeing the whole thing. Then there's the book that I mentioned, which is going to be a narrative memoir that's looking at the behind the scenes aspects of narco reporting that I used to do. That's a whole other thing that I'll talk about in another video. And then there's obviously this channel. Like, the whole thing started as a side project when COVID shut down the film industry, and I just started making videos because I didn't really know what to do with myself. It'd never been on camera before, and YouTube was already competitive back then, so it seemed pretty unlikely that it would go anywhere, but here we are, I guess. That's really a pretty perfect example of doing something dumb and seeing it pay off down the road. Anyways, over the last 3 years, it's kept growing thanks to all of you, and now it's just kind of part of what I do, and I'm really glad I started it. But honestly, the better things go in all these different directions, the harder it gets to find time for that stupid stuff that got me here in the first place. And trying to balance all those things like professional businesses has made it even more confusing. Because each of those projects gives me something that the other ones can't, but at the same time, they also take something away. Like, big crew filmmaking is incredible. It's collaborative, it's really fun, you're working with people who are better than you at specific things, and the budgets let you try stuff that one person alone just couldn't pull off. And last year we had 4 crews spread across America for a doc series that I was the lead DP of. Or a few years ago, I got to go to Papua New Guinea with this big A-list movie star and fly all over the place in chartered planes and helicopters. It's just insanely expensive. And those just aren't the kinds of things you can do with a YouTube budget, especially if you're doing it all alone. So whenever people ask why I don't just drop the industry work completely and go all in on YouTube, I have to kind of explain how, for me, it's just not the same thing. Now, the flip side of that is that on big budget shoots, you don't really control anything. You're really subject to market trends, like whether or not a network wants to greenlight your video, or if the tech companies decide production gets to have a good year or not. Like, the follow-up season of that 4-crew series I mentioned earlier is just on an indefinite pause right now while the producers try and negotiate with the streaming platforms, and there is absolutely nothing I can do to speed up that process. I was actually hoping to be in pre-production on season 2 right now, but it's more realistically looking like nothing is going to happen until the fall at the very earliest. And that's just the way it goes. It's part of the freelance life and you got to deal with it. I get it. But being powerless to control your career really sucks sometimes. Anyways, I'll repo you guys to the bench and let's keep going. Now, unlike traditional production, YouTube is kind of the opposite of the way I'm used to working. Nobody tells me what to do or what to make, and I don't have to wait on anybody to upload new videos. I mean, obviously there are no executives waiting for me to finish whatever this weird video is, and if I wanted to make 10 more exactly like it, no one would stop me. But unless you're constantly shilling products, the resources on YouTube are sort of limited. Don't get me wrong, it's meaningful and even life-changing income, but unless you have a huge channel, it's nowhere near enough to shoot in the way that you can with the proper budget. Like even if I uploaded 3 videos a week and had an ad read on every single one, it wouldn't even cover the transportation costs of what it took to send a crew into the jungle in Papua New Guinea like we did. Look, we all know that as camera tech gets more affordable, you can get incredible results with even a basic setup. And look at all the options we have these days. We're just so spoiled. But at the same time, I'm sorry, doing it alone just isn't the same as having a team of professional collaborators who are all working together to make something incredible.
So true, and that's been my biggest challenge. Obviously, I've been griping about that of late. Oh, actually, I was doing it like 30 minutes ago, where, yeah, I'm just so jealous of people with like film crews. Yeah, even the trip I did recently, the CNN project, that was so cool because it was like a broader team and you can see how everyone has assignments. You can run creative ideas off each other. There's just more options available. Where you do it alone, it's like, man, I'm trying.
Isn't necessarily worse than the other, but they just aren't the same. And honestly, if the only videos that perform really well are just me giving hot takes to a camera while I'm alone in a basement, is that really the future that I want? Not really. Now, please don't misunderstand. I genuinely enjoy making those videos, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon. But talking about filmmaking and actually doing filmmaking aren't the same thing, and sometimes it feels like the two things are very separate for me. Work is work, and YouTube is YouTube, and that's what I do when I'm not working. And since I can't really bring a BTS camera with me when I'm out on a shoot because of NDAs and all sorts of other reasons, it's made it really hard to see how to blend those two worlds together because, like I just said, there are so many good things about working with a crew on a big budget project that I don't want to lose. But at the same time, there's so much independence and control that you have with YouTube that it would be stupid to waste it. And eventually, it would be pretty cool if YouTube was so profitable that I could just shoot documentaries or whatever at the level that I wanted to without ever needing a network budget again. But sadly, at least based on what we're bringing in right now, that doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. And for the last couple of months, I guess I've been in this mental rut as I try to figure out how to fix this separation. Okay, just two things came to mind as I do this. Firstly, everyone on YouTube seems to always have the very best in coffee machinery or gadgets, so I just wanted to represent all of the drip coffee, average coffee lovers out there. And secondly, this machine, this cool looking Smeg thing, don't ever buy this. This is terrible. It's so badly designed. It's pure function, or pure form and no function. I hate it. As per usual though, the answer...
Well, on that note, the machine that I got, Niche Grinder Zero. I've been using this now for how many years? I think I've had this for like 5 years now. Since since COVID, when I started getting into coffee, just because I like making it. But honestly, this thing is one of the best purchases I've made. The Niche Zero. It cost a pretty penny, but it's never broken. It does the job perfectly every single time. No issues whatsoever, and it looks super sleek. Like, look at this guy. The Niche Grinder Zero. Can you see it from here? No, it's a bit too far. So, going on a tangent, but this one makes me enjoy coffee so much. So, all right, anyways. What was that guy?
Answer to that problem was sitting right in front of me, because it's really the same thing that's been true for my entire career pretty much. Like, if you want something to change, the only way forward is by doing something. When I think back to quitting my teaching job like way back in the day, and then spent my life savings on a photojournalism workshop and a one-way ticket to Bangladesh, I had no idea how things would work out, and it was pretty terrifying. Didn't really make financial sense, and there were all sorts of reasons why the timing was bad. You know, digital cameras and social media were just hammering the old journalism model just as I was trying to break in. And it's pretty much just like AI and big tech companies are disrupting the film industry now. And there were probably lots of other ways I could have gotten into photography without doing something so, I don't know, dramatic, but I do know that what never would have worked would have been sitting around waiting for things to be easier. So instead of trying to think my way out of this problem, I'm just gonna do what's always worked before and do something dumb. After thinking about this for months, I finally realized that the very thing that makes me good at my job is the same thing that's holding me back from more creative work on this channel. Because when I get to be a DP on something with a multi-million-dollar budget, there are so many talented people, each with a very niche job to do, and they're all working together to make something amazing. Like when I have a sound person and a producer and an assistant and then a whole team of editors spending months going through the footage, the end result is going to be so much better than what I can do alone with a few grand and an FX3. I'm sorry to all my solo creator friends out there, but it's true. Or at least I'm just not capable of pulling something like that off on my own. And that's kind of exactly what I have to let go of right now. The answer here isn't binary. Like, it isn't about either matching the production quality of a $4 million show or doing nothing. It has to be about letting go of perfection and just doing. It's funny because on this channel, I feel like I'm always telling people to do small, imperfect work rather than sit around waiting for one epic thing to reveal itself, but it seems to be exactly what I've been doing. So it's time to change that, and I'm guessing it's probably going to get uncomfortable. So here's my dumb idea. I'm investing an uncomfortable amount of my money, about 15 grand at this point, not that I'm counting or anything, and I'm sinking it into a shoot that no one asked for, which is why I'm packing to head to Mexico tomorrow. I hired a couple of my industry friends, a producer and a camera operator, and we're gonna head to Baja to spend a week with some of my best friends who are Nat Geo photographers who work on some really cool marine conservation issues. I won't go into too much detail now because you'll be able to see it all in the next couple of weeks, but I'll at least tell you what this won't be, because it definitely won't be what I'm used to. Like, it's gonna be low budget and messy and totally unstructured. We don't have a fully fleshed out script or outline, and even though we've had a few Zoom meetings to go over ideas, we don't really know what we're gonna come back with. Like, we totally might come back with a short doc, or I don't know, just some BTS content, or I don't know, something else entirely that I haven't even thought of yet. Should we try and vlog? All right, let's go. There we go. Trying new things. Let's go. East Toronto, tiny houses. Okay. Let me get you set up here. Are we okay now? All right. Minor emergency. Almost smashed the entire rig. Briefly trying to vlog, so we'll be more careful and just leave you here for now. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, like, the reason I think all this is a dumb idea, for the record, is because this isn't at all the normal advice I normally give out about making sure you have your story and all that stuff in place before you start rolling. But I think it's exactly because I spent so much of my professional life in that world that I have to do exactly the opposite here. Because sometimes to really just get things going, you have to do something spontaneous and chaotic and then see what comes from it. Like, if we come back with a cool film, then great. But if we just spend a week hanging out with my friends talking about how to build successful creative careers, that's also kind of great. Now, if I piss myself swimming with sharks, Maybe not quite as great, but let's do it anyways. And the goal here shouldn't be to make some portfolio piece or some spec project that I'm going to try and sell, because I think the point is to see if I can make this channel work for me instead of the other way around. Because what's the point of having a channel that reaches hundreds of thousands of people every month if you don't use it to do cool stuff? And I get to get out of the Canadian winter and hang out with some of my best friends, and we all get to try and figure out how really creative people out there are making things work in an uncertain time. And if I do get bitten by a shark, then that'll probably make for a killer thumbnail, so we're good all around. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Okay, that was the doorbell. Pretty sure I know what that is. Should be the last of the stuff arriving, but some very important stuff for this shoot.
Oh, he got that small, what was it called? The small rig potato jet. Ah, the freaking tripod that I bought that I've used maybe once.
Yeah, small rig hooked this up. I don't usually shoot with small mirrorless camera, so I needed a ton of rigging stuff, and they hooked me up. So I'm gonna have to unpack all this stuff and figure out how it actually works, but super cool. I don't know if it's weird that I'm always talking about pouches on here, but as I pack, I don't know, I just gotta show this. This is, again, shout out Burke Bags, but the satisfaction of just finding the perfect bag that holds something for me is very, very deep. So if you're wondering, this Burke Bags pouch, I don't even know what it's meant for, but it perfectly holds a small HD Bolt director's monitor and on-camera monitor perfectly. I am so happy about that, but I think that's probably because I'm a giant nerd. So Burke Bag, cool company, LA, check it out. We're talking about how nice it is to work with other people. Check this out. When you work with a camera assistant, you get someone else to make a packing list. Pretty easy. Shout out Hank Hunky, great job. Okay, so what's the lesson here? Honestly, I have no clue what's gonna come from this. You know, in a month, you might be watching a short film on the channel, or maybe not. And for the record, I'm also definitely not recommending that you fly a crew to another country with no concrete plan, because most of the time that's a terrible idea. But for right now and where I'm at, doing something stupid like this is the only thing that makes sense to me. So if you're in a similar spot, I hope that inspires you a little bit, I guess, because really the only way to make anything happen in the world is to take chances, and everything good that's ever come to me has come from a risk. So if you're just getting started, or maybe you're a little further along but you're feeling stuck, or I don't know, maybe the best thing is to stop thinking about the perfect solution and just try something dumb. I don't know, take it or leave it, but that's my headspace right now. So whatever happens down there, you'll all get to see it soon. See ya.
I like it. Very candid. I like these channels, generally speaking. I don't know the identity of my channel. What is it that I will focus on? When I say my channel, I'm talking about YouTube. So like, what is the DNA of my YouTube channel? Do I want to do motivational stuff? Do I do sharing like my travel vlogs and like take you guys with me on my adventures? Do I do tutorials or gear reviews? You know, there's like so many directions, and I feel like I'm kind of mixing in everything. So we shall find out eventually. Making of Project Hail Mary. Don't mind if I do.
Let grace die.
Man, I love this movie. It was so fantastic.
Dirty, dirty.
Yo, that's how they made this movie. Okay, so that's I thought this is the camera guy. Hold on.
Dirty, 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 dirty. Why room so messy? Question. Well, I wasn't expecting company.
There's a character that looks like he's made of rocks named Rocky.
How do you create a personality without a face?
The personality of Rocky starts with his physical shape, and then I think you look very closely at the proportions.
Eventually, after spending a lot of time with him, I could see that he had different faces.
Amaze, amaze, amaze.
It's very important that Rocky is expressive, that he comes across as inquisitive.
Mysterious. Faces are overrated.
We wanted a sense of Rocky coming from a culture.
And we added a bunch of details onto him.
The paintwork and the artwork was incredibly challenging.
We gave him tattoos and markings, like a mission patch that's carved into his body. That was our way, basically, of giving him an outfit.
Is special clothing for celebration.
Wow.
It became very obvious that there was some real spirit and joy in that little amazing alien.
Rocky is so beloved by so many. Finding the spirit of Rocky's voice was really important for all of us as filmmakers.
If we're gonna save our planet, we have to learn how to communicate. Let's find you a voice.
Why is a school teacher in space?
Oh. Nope.
Why is a school teacher in space?
Try this.
I am Rocky. I like.
I was so stoked when I saw Rocky for the first time. I was like, oh, this is so cool. But we still had to find the perfect voice.
James Ortiz was the lead puppeteer and voicing Rocky on set.
That's why we make a good team, Rock.
When it came time to figure out who the voice for the movie would be, we didn't have to look anywhere because James was Rocky.
Grace, friend.
Playing Rocky has been the most extraordinary experience.
I was alone on camera.
Oh, he was the producer as well. Interesting. Oh. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta take this real quick. One second. All right, let's dive into how I pack for Uganda, starting with the essentials, most of which fit in my Samsonite EcoDiver check-in bag. You can find all my gear linked in the description below. I opt for a soft case when flying within Uganda since they use smaller charter planes that have a 15 kg soft bag limit. I pack activewear shirts and trekking pants, mostly from Colombia. I pack my undergarments, of course, waterproof socks for the treks, and leg gaiters, which are a lifesaver against mud, sharp branches, and forest ants during the jungle treks. Also bring a pair of gloves if you're doing the treks, it'll protect your hands. Definitely bring a rain jacket, and for sun protection, bring the hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and arm sleeves. The last one, it's great for people like me with tattoos. Neck gaiters are also a must. It's great for hikes and it doubles as a face mask during ape encounters. And if I have space, I'll throw in a pair of normal shoes or sandals. The hiking boots I'll wear with me on the actual flight. You can't forget bug repellents, first aid kit, and toiletries. And then with the remaining space, I'll throw in all my non-battery camera accessories, like the tripods, gimbal heads, camera straps, lens filters, and cables. For context, all this packed up comes in at around 12 kgs. Moving to my primary carry-on, the Gitso Adventure 30-liter backpack. This bag is super durable, comfortable, and surprisingly spacious. It fits my Nikon Z9 camera with the 400mm f2.8 lens attached, along with a couple of other lenses like a 20mm f1.8 for the wide shots, and a 70-200 f2.8 or 85mm f1.2 for the distant or low light shots. I also packed my DJI Mic 2 microphones, a shotgun mic, and a couple of think tank bags stuffed with spare batteries, memory cards, chargers, and cables. Now for my Peak Design everyday sling bag. This little wonder is like Harry Potter's magical suitcase, and it's way roomier than it looks. It holds my Nikon Z6 III camera with a 24-70mm lens, my 14-inch MacBook, charger and power bank, universal adapter, as well as an Osmo Pocket 3 action camera. Plus, of course, my passport and wallet. And the best part, it's usually not weighed by airline staff, so packing it with heavy essentials can save you a headache at check-in. This becomes my go-to bag that I wear when I'm going out for photo shoots. This trio of bags ensures that I'm covered from airport to savannah to jungle for the smoothest of adventures. Okay, I am back. That was good. Thank you for being patient. Where's my music? Let's put something back on. One of the things, since I live in Dubai, but I'm technically from the States, whenever I have to sometimes I have to make phone calls back to the stateside or vice versa. And it's so annoying because technically that means if someone calls me from the States, their morning time is basically now. So there have been so many times where I have to wait for a phone call and it's like midnight my time for me to get the call back. Anyways, I'm back. Let's get back into this real quick. Where were we? All right, making a Project Hail Mary while I edit some more photos from Uganda.
Many months, but James was always there.
Oh, and then since I come back from a call, my cats have switched positions. So now Nala decided to hang out over here. And there's our boy Kimpop back in his rightful place. All right, let's get going.
As Rocky,
There's a lot of love for this character, so I really wanted to honor him.
he really did become that voice for me like Rocky was for Grace.
Physically making Rocky and using puppetry, it helps you believe in Rocky.
Neil Scanlon.
Okay, is there gonna be background music the whole time? I have a feeling this is gonna copyright my video.
Committed to these locations.
Dang it. Okay, so we're not. Actually, I have a strong feeling I'm gonna get some of these copyright strike. Or I say copyright strike, whatever it's called. So as much as I want to watch that,
the Canon I've been waiting for. The Canon R6V. It is a video-focused Canon camera, but it has IBIS, because in the past, usually it's been IBIS or video focus. Now we have both in one camera, and it shoots open gate RAW, and it's 2,500 bucks. That's quite a value, isn't it? Sorry, there's just mosquitoes freaking everywhere right here. I wanted to shoot the whole intro here, but we can't handle the mosquitoes.
Oh, got the heebie-jeebies.
Let's get the out of here. Run! Ah! Okay, Peter, I think we're safe. So, one of the things I always try to do whenever I'm making a video about a camera is show you as much footage out of the camera as possible. Like if I'm shopping for a camera, like I just want to know what's the footage look like in all these different scenarios, right? So what I'm gonna do is shoot as much of this video as I can out of this Canon R6V. And anytime I need to switch to a different camera, such as this Sony FX3, I will make sure I put a little asterisk right there in the corner so you know that this is not footage out of the R6V. And if you don't see that asterisk up there, that means you are looking at footage from the R6V. But before we get into it, Canon wanted to make sure that you all know that this is a pre-production version of the camera. It's actually not fully finalized yet. So all this footage you're looking at now, Canon says don't use this for evaluation purposes. But this is footage out of the camera. Quick first impressions here, check that out. Quarter 20 right on the side of the camera for vertical video.
it is kind of cool though. I will say one of the things that have made me feel validated as a creator was, yeah, and shout out to Nikon. Also shout out to my cat again. Look at this handsome lad. Yes, good boy, Kimpop. Good boy. Yeah. He looks so handsome there. Good boy, Kimpop. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Got distracted. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so shout out to Nikon. Obviously, I'm very appreciative that I was able to participate in the, I guess, in the launching of the Nikon ZR and being able to go out and shoot with the pre-production unit. So I think it was really fun because, like, you know, it's almost like now I get to know what it's like on the other side of things. So, you know, this whole concept of a pre-production unit and why these companies, it's a big deal, right? So I remember Nikon would like stress to me like, hey, you're going to make the, you know, whatever you make, just make sure you explicitly call out that this is a pre-production unit because we don't want to, yeah, because for obvious reasons, I guess, but you know, what ends up being the actual production unit, there could be a lot of changes made from the moment I shoot with this pre-production compared to the finalized version. So that means you could, if you don't make that distinction, I guess legally there could be issues where it's like, oh, well, this guy said he's got the ZR and it produced this, but the one I purchased can't do that. So what the heck, you know? So it's like, it's for protecting themselves, but it's kind of cool because it's like now when I see these videos and they say this like throwaway line, oh, just as an FYI, it's a pre-production unit. Back in the day, before I got to be involved in this project, I would hear that and it would mean nothing to me. I'm like, oh, whatever. I might not even really register what he said. Now it's like, oh, that's so cool. I was on the other side of that when a company told me all these things. Anyway, sorry, I'm going on. It's a cool moment for me.
So right here, we have a zoom rocker right here because this lens is also brand new. This is a 20-50 mil, which is a pretty great lens actually. I mean, it starts off nice and wide and it still gets you into a 50 at 4, but stabilized, but power zoom, or like kind of like a servo. So just one-handed.
So I'm curious. I imagine this means that this is meant to compete with the ZR, because if it's priced at $2,500, and even some of the features that they were showing there, where it's got like a zoom rocker, and I'm curious what else are the features. Let's keep watching.
I can zoom in all the way to a 50 and zoom out all the way to a 20. What? But anyways, I've been taking this camera along with me on this road trip that I'm on right now. So let's look at some footage, and at the end, I'll tell you my favorite and least favorite things about this.
Okay. I don't know anything about Potato Jet's background in terms of like what does he normally do. I like his content whenever I see it pop up. But what I will say is the footage coming from this doesn't seem that appealing to me. But maybe he's just trying to shoot like day in the life time kind of stuff. But
anyways, I've been taking this camera along with me on this.
Like shots like this, it looks so dull, you know? And I wonder why. Because at that price point of $2,500, 7K, open gate, whatever other features they said, my assumption is this is supposed to be like a, you know, hey, this is, forget about the Nikon ZR, you know, you should be worried, you know, think about this camera. But maybe he doesn't do, I don't know what he does actually. How does the Canon, shoot, what is it called? Canon R6V. God, I hate product model names where they just throw a bunch of random letters and stuff. R6V compare to the Nikon ZR. Can you tell me how does the Canon EOS R6V compare with the Nikon ZR in terms of the specs and what you see online?
I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble responding right now. Please wait a bit and try again.
Hello, hello, can you hear me? All right, well, lovely ChatGPT.
But I'm having trouble responding right now. Please wait a bit and try again.
Okay, well, in the meantime, then I guess I'll read the AI message here. Canon EOS, blah, blah, blah. In contrast, the ZR leans into photography innovation with retro styling and a larger LCD screen, though it lacks the sheer video muscle of the R6V. R6V has open gate, 7K, 30 frames per second RAW, and 4K up to 120. Active cooling system. Okay, I don't trust this AI at all. What? It says Nikon ZR geared more towards photography and classic styling. I don't think people are buying the ZR for photography. 20 megapixel full frame sensor. Okay, I don't know. I'm not trusting this AI.
Road trip that I'm on right now. So let's look at some footage, and at the end I'll tell you my favorite and least favorite things about this Canon R6V. First stop of the road trip is to visit Frank.
What's up? What's going on?
We're still in LA. We have not made it very far. Frank's brought us to some Ninja Warrior park near his place.
It's super difficult, extremely difficult. Look at this, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do here? Jump to that one? Like a video game? Press B, and then that's it.
Oh my gosh.
And then that's it, it's over.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this footage looks because it is terrible lighting here. Very intense.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe he's putting it through like the stress test.
This kind of little red umbrella. But I'm in C-Log 2, so I should have a decent amount of dynamic range. Oh my god, what the heck is this?
C-Log.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
What is C-Log 2? What is the bit of C-Log 2? The bit depth is 10 bits. Okay. Okay, so then technically, unless you are able to shoot in like a 12-bit version and he just chose not to, that means the ZR is technically, it's got much more color depth.
Ooh, okay, that's pretty good. Dude, I like the zoom.
We do have 4K 120, I think.
Let's try it. Don't eat crap, bro.
No 4K 120?
You gotta go into a different mode first.
Yeah, I'm in the slow.
4K 120 without a crop, that would be nice. I wish I didn't ever have a crop factor if I wanted the 120, but you know, that's a small thing.
You did that?
Do we not have 4K 120? We'll have future me explain what's going on here. You put your camera to movie crop mode and forgot to switch it back like a dumbass, so switch it back to full frame and you'll have access to 120 frames per second again. I've been in movie crop mode this whole time.
That's when I was holding a 20mm, I was like, how come 20mm doesn't seem that wide?
Oh! You know why? I stopped by Eric DeHaven's shop yesterday and he had this like funky T1 lens that was a Super 35 lens, so I put it into movie crop mode. Oh, okay, 4K 120, here we go. Now we're talking.
That was good, man.
And then you gotta get the stripper pole down.
The stripper.
All right, your turn to do some epic stuff.
Yeah, this is the ankle breaker right here.
Let me get you trying this.
I have a wedding Saturday. I work Saturday. Now these shoes are way too slippery. Whoa, that was good. And you did the Mario Brothers sound.
I like this because it's like the only thing here I could do. All right, so if I get out of slow-mo now, I have the basic stabilization on. I'm just holding the camera like this. I love that I could give it a little turn, just like that, and zoom in.
That's cool.
One-handed. Like if I ask you a question, I could just put you on the spot, slowly zoom in, and it'll seem important. Like, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?
I would like a big Mac McDeal, cheer quarter pounder with some cheese fillet of fish, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a Happy Meal.
If you were to buy one, what are the things you must know before you decide you're gonna buy one?
And overheating.
Does it overheat?
Yeah, I'm curious about overheating because my R6 Mark II still overheats.
Okay.
It was overheating yesterday on me.
So we'll have to...
Oh yeah, I know that is, I know in the past, I don't know about recently, I know there some of the concerns with some of, I guess Canon, maybe Sony, was like overheating issues. I haven't really had, I think one time I had an overheating issue with the ZR. It was actually on one of my live streams. I just, at one point, I think I just saw an overheating message. I don't know what I did to make that happen though. But then like in terms of actually shooting, I've never had that issue. You know, with the pre-production unit, I was able to record over an hour long, I think, or roughly or somewhere around an hour, 4K, 24 frames per second, R3D, 12-bit resolution, all that kind of stuff. No issues, for what it's worth. Outdoors.
Test it in some hot environments. What, 4K 60?
60p.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it feels good. It feels comfortable.
Is it Frank approved?
It is Frank. Softy P on me.
So what?
Not overheating because my R6 Mark II still overheats.
Oh, this is not the... Wait, is this the Canon?
Okay.
It was overheating yesterday on me.
So we'll have to test it in some hot environments.
Low temp burn caution.
What, 4K 60?
60p.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it feels good. It feels comfortable.
Is it Frank approved?
It is Frank. So far, it is.
Let's go to the easy Ninja Warrior. Ninja Warriors!
Dude, I haven't been on a swing in like a billion years. Okay, that's enough.
Dude, what if the swing just like
that's enough.
breaks? For me, one of the things that I really don't like about Canon's IBIS, at least in the past, is the IBIS wobble, especially on a wide angle. But I'm all the way out at 15 mil right now with the basic digital stabilization turned on, and hopefully we don't see any wobble. So as far as I can tell, the IBIS wobble seems to be gone even on a ultra wide angle lens, which is great news because the episode where we went to Japan's camera show, we filmed that on Frank's Canon R6 Mark II, and there were instantly comments about the Canon IBIS wobble. So ever since the R6 Mark III, it seems to have been gone, and obviously that's super important if we plan on using this camera for video. Anyways, we made it to Nevada and doing a little pit stop at the Las Vegas Sphere. You know, as a video guy, there is no place as insane as the Las Vegas Sphere. So I'll watch any show that they have playing there. You know, people always talk about how it went over budget to $2.3 billion, but when you're in there, it's like, yep, I can see why it's $2.3 billion. We were just passing through Vegas and we share our location with each other, and I just pulled out my phone and I was like, oh, Jonathan's here. We're doing a shoot for Honda, and now we're here.
Now we're here. Literally, I was in the middle of filming, and I was like, oh.
And you were shooting with a Canon C300 Mark III.
Yep, that's right.
With that nice dual gain output sensor.
Yes.
For Honda, you're shooting Canons.
Yeah, right now it's Canon, yeah.
I mean, you guys have the C300 Mark III.
We have the C300 Mark
C500.
C500 Mark II.
You have a C700,
We have a C700. yeah. Yep.
I feel like for someone like you, having something tiny like this.
Yeah, this would be
cool.
This would be perfect, especially for shooting interiors. This would be perfect to go inside.
What do you use right now for your interiors?
We have the R5C.
Oh, you have the R5C. Yeah. Okay. First of all, this is going to be the entry-level Canon video cinema camera, coming in at $2,500.
Oh, that's not bad.
Full frame. I feel like it's a great entry-level camera because of the price point and the capability you get for it. But even for someone like you that has a C700, a C500, a C300, sometimes it might still be the best tool for the job because of the IBIS. You guys are just shooting the Grand Prix, right? Mm-hmm. Send a few of these out and just people go around getting handheld shots.
Absolutely.
Full-size HDMI, mic port,
headphone
headphone jack.
Well, that's a big deal.
Yeah, you're used to the micros.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I like that. Yeah.
Switch from video to camera.
Yeah. Because with this R5C, I felt like it took forever. Too long and the shot's gone.
Yeah.
The moment's gone. This is just instant. You switch it and it's already there. Not even a second. The other part with it was it drained the batteries really fast. Probably would buy this to replace it.
Yeah.
Just because just the battery life itself.
And then R5C didn't have IBIS, so for handheld work, it could be a little tough. This has IBIS. Also, I love that Canon gives us all the exposure tools. My Sony FX3 gives me histogram and zebra. This has both of those, but also it has false color, and we also have waveform, which is
it's got
so
the false
important.
color.
That's one of the things I really wish.
Yo, it's got false color. What the heck, Nikon? Give me some false color. Also, it's funny, they keep saying the word IBIS, but as I'm learning more about the lingo, my understanding is like don't you have to say the number of stops of IBIS that you have? How much IBIS does the Canon, oh my god, what is the freaking name? R6V have? How many stops, right? Provides up to 7.5 stops. Wow, I think that's good, yeah. Yeah, but I don't understand why they don't just say how many stops. They're just like, oh, it's got IBIS. It's like, whoa, is it good IBIS? So like the specs sound really impressive, but so far the shots that he's shown of the camera just didn't look very.
So going back to Canon?
Utah, and tonight I'm actually excited to stay at a truck stop because I heard that if you take a shower at a truck stop, it's surprisingly nice. This is not what I was expecting for like a truck stop shower.
Here's the toilet. Equipped with a bidet.
A bidet?
I've never tried one before and I'm very tempted.
We got towels, we got candy.
I don't know if I'm gonna take a bath or a shower.
So my first time taking a shower at the truck stop, hands down 5-star review. Anyways, I figured this might be a good chance to check out some low light out of this camera. So we have a dual base on C-Log 2 at ISO 800 and ISO 6400. Right, so that basically means if you're shooting at ISO 5000, you're gonna get grain, but then you switch to 6400 and it's clean. 5000 grainy, 6400 clean, side by side with the Sony FX3. And again, let me remind you that this is a pre-production version of the Canon, so I'm not supposed to be evaluating the image hardcore like this, but I mean, I'm seeing some good stuff out of this Canon. So while we're on the move, this is kind of my little workstation here. I've got my laptop and then
hey, he's a Da Vinci.
iPad. And then up there we have the Starlink that gives us internet, and it's perfect for simple stuff, but it's not really great for heavy duty work. So I've been eyeing this thing called Base Case, which seems like a super quick dual screen monitor setup workstation, and turns out they're based out of Salt Lake City. So I stopped by and met Arthur, who's the founder of Base Case. So basically 2 years ago, Arthur hacked up the suitcase and put 2 giant monitors in there, and it was janky, but it worked. So he took that concept and started refining it and perfecting it so he could bring it to market. Hey, not bad for my first time setting it up on my own. They were generous enough to let me borrow one so I could do a little test run with it. Pull out the legs, flop it up, and oh my god, that is easy. 1 cable for the power.
Yo, that's some
and
crazy.
1 USB-C cable. And that charges your laptop too. Genius! I love things that make my life easier. And let me just say, after my first full day of editing off of dual 4K 24-inch displays, I don't think I will ever be able to edit off my laptop screen ever again. But anyways, notice that the Canon R6V has been recording at 4K 60 for over 2 hours with 0 signs of overheating. Now, this is not at all a scientific overheating test because I don't have the incubator with me, so I can't really control the temperature. And also, I've had the camera powered off USB-C, so I don't have to worry about the battery dying here. But maybe that might actually help it not overheat because it doesn't use the battery as much. But I did also switch over to the 7K open gate at 30 frames per second. And there is a fan setting that you can adjust from low, medium, and high. But even with it set to low, I let it run for over 2 hours. And again, 0 signs of overheating. So definitely gives me quite a bit of confidence with this camera. But again, this is all in room temperature. Now outside it is 90 degrees and inside the van it's much hotter than that, well over 100 degrees, and I had it running at 4K 60, but I did put the fan up too high to see if it overheats, and it did start giving me some signals that it was heating up, but then the fan would kick on and it would drop back down, which I was very impressed about because I could not spend more than 2 minutes in this fan, but this did 4K 60 for over 2 hours with no overheating. But I wasn't gonna leave until I found the limit, so I set the fan setting to low and also set it to 4K 60 in fine mode, which looks a little bit sharper. But putting it in that mode, it does let you know that it is more likely to overheat. And sure enough, it eventually overheated after 20-something minutes. Well, honestly, this is kind of an extreme overheating test when you consider how freakishly hot it got in there. So that's why you never leave your pets inside the vehicle in a sunny day. But I ran one final test at 4K 60, but running off the battery this time, and we did see that overheating meter start climbing up, but the fan definitely kicks in and it feels like it's able to kind of fend it off a bit. And the fact that it went this long without overheating in this car at 4K 60, I'm honestly impressed, and I would feel 100% comfortable taking this on a shoot where overheating might be a concern. I would just stay off these settings that give you warnings that it will overheat. Okay, so time for my favorite and least favorite things about this camera. So first thing that makes me very happy, great IBIS in a video focused Canon. Like when I was testing out the Canon R6 Mark III and the C50, I kept thinking like, man, would it be awesome if we had the great IBIS stabilization from the Canon R6 but didn't have to worry about overheating? If these two cameras had a baby, here it is. Now my first sad face with this camera was when I took my first photo and realized there is no physical shutter in here. So when you take a picture with it, it just has a little beep sound effect and there is no shutter feel. I think it kind of bothers me more than others. Like Frank seemed unfazed by it, but when I first took my first picture on it, I was like, am I actually taking a picture? Because nothing moves inside, right? Like,
yeah.
Even the Sony FX3 has a shutter inside, so even if I take that into photo mode and take a picture, I still feel it goes.
Well, this doesn't. You can't feel a shutter here as well.
Okay,
I don't mind.
So you're used to taking pictures on things without a shutter. But it totally makes sense why they pulled it out. I mean, like there's a lot of Canon cinema cameras that don't have a shutter, but it doesn't even have a photo mode, so you never even realize it doesn't have a shutter, right? So I appreciate that they still put the photo mode in here. And it also helps shave down the price, so it definitely makes sense. Which brings me to the fact that this whole camera is $2,500, which is actually less than the Canon R6 III, which was pretty surprising to me, honestly. I feel like the mid $2,000 range for mirrorless cameras is getting really interesting right now. You know, like we have the Nikon ZR, which has that great big display, and Red Code RAW, but it doesn't have a fan. And then there's the Sony FX2, which has like that viewfinder and has a shutter and nice for taking pictures, but no 4K 120. This camera feels really well-rounded for the mid $2,000 range. And also that 20 to 50 mil f4 lens, power zoom lens we've been playing with is $1,400, but if you get it with the R6V as a kit, it's $3,700. So that's still actually less than the Canon C50 body only. It's exciting to see Canon really integrate this power zoom, and also the lens itself weighs nothing. It's like freakishly lightweight. Now we are missing a timecode jam sync port, so that's one of the things that is kind of nice about like the Sony FX2, which is in the same price range, is it does have a way to jam timecode metadata straight into like the USB, and you still have your audio inputs free. But this only really matters if you're using timecode, you know, like multicam, or using timecode microphones like Tentacle Syncs or whatever. But you can still do the free run, match it up to the time of day thing, and just generally get in the ballpark. But to get precise audio timecode, you're going to have to just do it through audio and take up your microphone port. I love all the exposure tools: waveform, false color, and histogram. My Sony FX3, which costs way more, has none of these. Actually, it has histogram and zebra. But waveform and false color, come on. That's sweet that that's in here. And while we're on the topic of things my Sony doesn't have, 4K 30 in H.265, which is a nice efficient format. Okay, this isn't anything special, but my Sony FX3 has H.265 and 4K 24 and 60, even 120, but for some reason it doesn't have 30. But anyways, I'm glad to see that this Canon doesn't really seem like it pulls out anything that I might want. You know, it still has C-Log 2, still has C-Log 3. Actually, I take that back. It does not have shutter angles. So that's one of the things I do like to do with my Sony cinema cameras, is just set my shutter angle at 180. And for the most part, just never have to even think about the shutter speed, even when I'm changing my frame rates around. Here, I'm still...
I mean, it sounds like an impressive camera, but I love my Nikon ZR. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe he'll break it down here, but I wasn't impressed with the footage itself, you know? But then again, he was shooting with a kit lens, so I guess he was restricted to like testing out the 20 to 50 lens. So that could have played a role. And also he's like taking it on a, you know, it's not like he's shooting interesting things, right? Or like he's just going on a road trip and shooting things around him. So that could play a factor as well. But in terms of like just the overall, I don't know, I wish I could see what the colors look like, or yeah, like when you get some really cool cinematic shots, what does it look like? Because to me, when I see some of these shots, it just, nothing about it screams like impressive. Where were they?
As far as I can tell, the IBIS wobble seems to be gone, even on a...
I mean, it's like, yeah, like color-wise, nothing's like popping at me. I don't know.
Part, but sometimes I do find frustrations with it, like when Frank and I were trying to figure out why my false color wasn't working. But eventually I found out that I have to go into manual focus, turn off focus peaking, and then now I can use it. But it's just like we were scratching our heads for a pretty long time trying to figure that out. So there's some quirks that you kind of have to work through, but yeah, I guess all cameras have their quirks, right? In the menus, except for Arri Alexis, those menu systems are perfect. But now that we have IBIS in here, even when I'm shooting in OpenGate on here, I still have some sort of stabilization.
Man, but that OpenGate, I understand why. Yeah, it'd be fun to shoot with an OpenGate.
Shooting handheld, so like IBIS stabilization, because when you're shooting OpenGate, there is no digital image stabilization options, which I guess is kind of like my final complaint. Is I do wish that there was some digital stabilization I could apply and still get that taller aspect ratio. And sometimes I don't need full 6K, you know, like 4K stabilized 4:3, like taller aspect ratio mode. Or actually, I don't think it's 4:3. I think it's technically 3:2. But overall thoughts, a lot more things I like about this camera than the things I dislike about this camera. I can kind of do a little bit of everything, from vlogging to documenting your adventures to photography to cinematography to 4K slow motion to OpenGate raw. Anyways, we are now headed off to continue our road trip. I think we're going to be getting a sample of the new GoPro, the Mission 1, the 1-inch sensor. So, you know, if there's anything you want us to test out with that, let us know in the comments. And
cool guy. I like him a lot. He seems like a chill person. Okay. Well, now it's about 10:20. I think this is maybe where I'm just gonna start putting the stream down, if you will, because I need to watch the series finale of The Boys. Apparently it came out. I need to watch it, okay? That's big. You know what? I'm not like, I haven't been the biggest fan of the past few seasons, but it's, you know, it was a cool concept. I like the show. And it's a freaking last episode, so I need to see how it ends. So no spoilers, but it's in the back of my mind. I'm like, I need to go watch this. I need to watch this right now. And I need to eat dinner. It's now 10:20 p.m. my time. So, yeah, should we die down? All right, let's see. How's the edits? I did a bit of edits here. Let's see. I still have a few more really cool shots that I need to work through. But what do we end up with? think these are from yesterday. Yeah, so this is where we started. I didn't do too many, I guess. Some interesting shots of the chimp. Yeah, this was a bit of a challenge for me to edit these guys. Chimps are not easy for me when it comes to figuring out the right colors, and especially when they're up in the trees and you got to mix in some of the, you know, like the backlighting and the darkness. The chimp itself doesn't really bounce a lot of pretty colors out. So, and then I guess we just have some people shots. That one I just slapped a preset and that was it. So yeah, you know, we could have got more done, but I'm okay with this. Like I said, today was a good day for me because I was able to have some important meetings. It sounds like I had did I mention this on stream? I had someone reach out to me from the Ugandan wildlife authorities, and they had stumbled upon my short film, the Island of Second Chances, which is on my YouTube channel. You guys should always check it out and promote it. But yeah, they stumbled upon the video and they had asked if they can actually, if I had, you know, if they had my permission to actually use it on their channel. I don't know what the channel is exactly. It might be like some TV thing. But the point is they liked it, and it sounds like, fingers crossed guys, fingers crossed, but they did, it sounded like they were interested in maybe just having a chat with me on other ways that we could collaborate. So that's right up what my wheelhouse of what I'm trying to do, right? When it comes to hopefully finding some interesting travel projects, filming, documenting key stories. Hopefully these kind of like conservation stories or human stories mixed in with wildlife. So hopefully that'll be a new door opened in terms of opportunities. And I had a good chat with the partners that I've worked with for the safari workshops. And so I think we're looking at potential other ways to work together. So yeah, a lot of promising things, a lot of work I need to do. So I need to, you know, start putting stuff together on my end and pitching some things and all the other stuff like that. But hopefully this will turn into more travel opportunities where I can visit, especially Africa. I really love traveling to these parts of the world, this part of the world. So many interesting stories, obviously from a nature perspective and the wildlife perspective, so much to showcase. So yeah, I'll have to start cracking through and figuring that out. So tomorrow is Thursday. Oh, tomorrow I should have my next YouTube video published by tomorrow. So if all goes well, you guys should see, and this is why you should make sure to turn your notifications on my YouTube channel. You should be subscribed to my YouTube channel, fingers crossed there. But probably midday, maybe like an hour or so before I actually go live, I should be able to publish my YouTube channel. And my goal is to be more consistent with publishing them. So yeah, hopefully you'll see 2 videos every week, something like that, across my YouTube channel. And I've got plenty of content, of course, but this will be one of the behind the lens episodes. So look out for that. And in the meantime, I'm also just working through other videos, like some of the moments from my travels, like from my time in Munich, obviously the wildlife related captures that I have, and seeing how I can turn it into some compelling footage for you guys to consume. So those are things to be on the lookout for. And yeah, I should probably stream. I'll probably end up streaming around the same time tomorrow, maybe around 7:30 p.m., something like that. So all right, my cats are all just chilling here, so say goodbye to them. Thank you guys for another lovely stream, and I will be back tomorrow. And